Hi, welcome back. This is day 10 of making a tag a day. And I made these tags and made them out of junk mail. And then when I went back to watch the video, anyway, we won't even get into my technical issues. So I don't know if I can exactly make this exact one, but I can take you through the steps and we can do it on junk mail. So it was one large junk mail postcard and I tried to piece it back together so you could see. I cut them by hand. I used a hole punch. So you can see like when the tags were all turned, the direction that they should be, but you can see the back. It was just one big, it's actually for a car, junk mail postcard. So I want you to not feel discouraged like me when when that sort of stuff happens. But you get the idea. It's just, making art a day, making a little bit of art every day. So I don't exactly have that same size postcard anymore, but I have this one. So I'm going to take these little, whatever, discount cards off, and some of these junk mail things come with this glue or, I don't know, adhesive stuff that, to stick extra bits on. You definitely don't want that on your card. So I hope you guys are doing good. The holidays are here, and I have had the best intentions of making a video every single day, but have been caught up in holiday stuff. So I'll try to get through it with you and hope you guys join us. Join me in making the tag a day. So doesn't matter which side is the front or the back. You decide. On that other postcard, I picked a darker side, but you can pick whatever you want. And you know what? I'm going to tear these in half. So I'm just going to put some, if you have gesso, put gesso. I'm using inexpensive acrylic paint because that's what I have. And that's what I like to use. So that's what I'm going to use for my base coat. Now you could pick a solid color if you want. You don't have to use, you could pick a color instead of white or off-white like I am. I just don't exactly know what I'm going to do on this postcard. So I hope you guys are arting every day. I know for me, I'm trying. I have been arting a lot. I just haven't been doing the videos with them. I guess I should have. I've been in the middle of making all of my holiday stuff, and some of it I made ahead of time, but even with the best laid plans, I can only speak for myself, even with my best laid plans, I'm still not 100%. I still can't get it 100%. So the idea for this tag, you know what I mean? I'm not prepared even when I try to, I always say I'm going to be done way before the holidays and it never happens. So it's okay. All's good, right? So, I like this heavier junk mail, and you get a lot of it right now at this holiday time. So even if you're not going to use it now, you don't have to save everything, and trust me, I'm not encouraging you to hoard stuff. That's not it. Only keep what you think you're going to use. But it's something that you get a lot of. Okay, so I think so for me, what I've learned, and you guys take it for what it is if you go from light to dark, for me, it works out really great. So what I did on the other one was of course I don't have it because I used it. I cut my own. So many times I get like comments or emails from you guys saying, well, I don't have that stencil or I don't have that. So I went ahead and I cut a border from a magazine page for the other one. I ended up using it and gluing it down on the page. But I just wanted to give you an idea that you don't even need to do that. Just use what you have. That's packaging from Pop-Tarts. So use what you have, and I am using really super inexpensive big box store paint, which I want to say the most expensive one is $1 50. Most of them are in the 50-cent range. I think it just depends upon, if you buy their metallics, I think they're a little bit more. So this is actually accessible to anyone, you know, anyone can anyone can make this. It's not like you have to have lots of money to use it. Use what you have, you guys. Don't go out and buy anything. If you have it, do your artwork. Work with what you have. Like, there's no reason not to. There's absolutely no reason not to work with what you have. So, now keep in mind, I am going to cut these apart to be tags all on their own. They're not going to be one big tag, but it gives you an idea that you could work on one surface and cut it all off. So this is what, I don't even know what you guys are making for your holidays, your holiday gifts, but for me, I've been working on some handbags, and all I can tell you is that I should know that the law of probability for me is like, if it's gonna happen, if it's gonna, you know, if I make the plan of it, it's gonna happen differently than what I imagine. Because for me, I've been sewing, I would say, the vast majority of my life. I mean, probably really heavily once I had children, because I had a daughter that, she's in her 20s now, but she was obsessed with the color yellow when she was little, and there was no children's clothes at that time that were yellow. So it was pretty, I don't know, it was pretty funny to have, you know, to be witnessing that with her, you know, trying to, you know, as a new parent, you want your kids to have what they want. And so I really sewed a lot of clothes for her. So that being said, I've sewn my whole life. My sewing machine, and I have more than one sewing machine, but I have one that just does like easy stitching, and, you know, it's an old Elna. I don't have anything like new and fancy. I have like an old Elna machine, but what I do, and then I have like a more industrial machine that sews really quickly. Well, the one that I need in this handbag that I chose to make was like, I couldn't have picked like a super easy, you know what, it's just who I am, I guess. I couldn't pick a super easy, something easy. I had to pick something more difficult, and my machines decided to not cooperate, died, and so I've just had to like surrender this whole process for myself, because it just hasn't worked out the way I wanted it to. So needless to say, I should know all that ahead of time. So, and anyway, I successfully made one. The second one has been, and the one that I made, the successful one, I already mailed out. But the unsuccessful one is for my daughter here, and thank goodness she doesn't know about it, because if I totally have an epic fail, I'm not going to send it to her. So I'm just using, this is a Tim Holtz stencil. You could make a stencil something similar to this with some sort of punches if you had. It's not, and I'm using a sponge brush, and I keep reusing mine. I wash them and rinse them, but, you know, there's only, at least I've found that, you know, there's only so much life you can give a foam brush. And so I just cut it off and keep using it until there's nothing there. So that's why it looks like a little deformed. So you can kind of see this was sort of what I did with the other card. It's sort of, and I picked a color palette that I liked, and I picked one. Right now I'm sort of attracted to these really bright colors. You know, it changes. It ebbs and flows. I don't know about you guys, but, you know, that sort of stuff with me ebbs and flows. And I realize this is going to be cut up into tags, so I don't I know it may look like it's a big mess, but I think it'll come out just fine. All right, let me see. And the other thing I do is that, I don't know about you guys, but I always try to keep an extra something around to constantly keep rubbing my stencils and different things off on, because it works. I do wash my stencils, so I don't want you guys to think that I don't. Okay, it looks like in the other tags, I had glued down some book pages, and I glued down some book pages. Maybe I'll use this one. I glued down some book pages that had, I don't know, because I kind of just work out however intuitively I'm feeling. I don't really have a plan when I start, unless it's like for something, maybe a specific color palette, do I have a plan, but I don't normally have like this grandiose big plan, and I need more light. And so, I don't know, I'm not liking any of it. Well, I like this one better. This one looks like it has some Lindy Stamp Gang, but I like the orangey colors. So if you do decide to glue down on your tags or to glue bits and pieces, use a permanent glue stick. Because if you continue to add layers of paint on it, and it's water-based glue, it'll come up. So anyway, I hope you guys come over and join me on some of my live streams. I live stream every Tuesday and Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's a lot of fun, really great community of fun people that join in, and you never know who's going to show up, but it's always fun, and people from all over the world. And I have to say that's probably what the most fun thing about doing live streams is chatting with everyone from all over the world. So, guys, as you can see, I have no agenda for this paper. I'm just adding. The other one I added texture paste to. I don't know if I'm going to add texture paste to this one, just because it took so long to dry. And I love using, and it wasn't my homemade texture paste. I used, I'll show you what I used. Let me just get a few more pieces down here, and then add a few to this one. For me, arting for no reason at all is just the opportunity to be creative. Take a little time out to have some zen. Okay. Maybe I'll put like 2 more pieces, and then I'm done with that. And I don't know if I will try and use any texture paste. I mean, it's fine when you're using it in your artwork, but when you're making videos, it takes for me, it takes a long time to dry. And if you try to do something in real time, it's not, it's just not as, okay. So I am going to take my glue stick and burnish down all my pieces. If you have a bone folder, use that. Whatever you want. I just want to make sure they're good and stuck down. Now, let me see. I think on the other one I used this stencil that I got, and I'm liking it. I love this stencil. I just didn't necessarily have the right color ink to use with it. Where is it? New stencil that I got, and it is from the Crafters Workshop, and I liked it. It's like a very sort of lacy looking stencil. And let me just see if I can put it here, and let me just decide. I've got some blues, greens, yellows. Let me see. It'd be good if I had a darker color. And this would be a great time if you have some spray inks to go for that. I have this metallic purple. I don't know if it's going to show up, but I guess we can see. I guess we can see if it will show up. It may not. use this side of my paintbrush. I love using those Lindy Stamp Gang inks. Do you guys, or sprays? I love using those. I just don't think I have a color palette. I can look and see if I have a few. If I have a couple, that'll work here. I've made my own acrylic sprays as well. I don't know if you guys have done that, but that's really fun. That's really a fun thing to do too. Is to make your own acrylic inks, acrylic sprays. Now, because these are going to be cut up and cut up separately or cut up into multiple pieces, you're not going to get this whole thing on all of it. In fact, you may not get, you may be missing some of it on all of it. We'll see. Okay, the other thing is, this is a great, if you save all your extra book pages, using it on top of a stencil like this is awesome. I think so. As I click. Doesn't it come out cool? Now we'll lift it up and see. Not bad. It definitely gave it some cool addition to the texture. Could have been a darker color. Okay, what I did use to do some sort of outlining and fun was this. It's a black sequin metallic paint, and it is also it's by Folk Art. I don't think it was very expensive. I want to say probably $1.50 a bottle. It doesn't give it like a really dark color, but you'll see. But I did use it to go back and pick up some detail. It'd also be kind of good if you had some Stabilo pencils, that sort of thing. It would work good too. I kind of like it because it gives it, without being like so black, it's sort of got a translucency to it. There's some translucency to the black, and I kind of like that. I want to add to this. So I hope you guys are having fun and arting every day. Let me work on this one. But you guys get the general idea. It's just really to play and have fun. It's not anything super serious. Okay, I think I'm done for this until I cut them up. Now, I probably do need to dry them a little bit, so just because, you know, I want to. You guys, I don't know what's wrong with me today. But even my heat gun, this is ridiculous. Okay, I think it is safe to say they are dry enough to cut. So what I'm going to do is just decide how I want my tags. This is just a tag that I'd made before, so I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to cut them this direction. What's fun about it is when you make them in big pieces like this, you don't quite know exactly how they're going to turn out, and I think that's, you know, I think that's even better. At least in my world, it's a little better. It's more fun, you know? And I am going to use a pen and trace around the tag. You know, but it just shows you that once you make your template, you don't need a die cutting machine. You don't need a die cutting machine for it. You can do it your way. You know, you don't need. There's no right or wrong, and you don't need a die cutting machine. And the other thing is you don't have to cut it totally out. You can. I'll show you. As long as you have an idea of how long you want your tag or how big, you can make it exactly the same size as the paper that you're doing it, so it doesn't have to be, if you don't want to cut it off, you don't have to. Does that make sense? You guys, I mean, just because I'm making mine the standard size, you don't have to. But it just gives you an idea. So let's cut this off. Okay, so then we'll cut this one. And then maybe I will, let's see how much. Let me measure it onto this one now, if you want them exactly the same. And then what's cool is you can decide which one's the top, what's the top and what's the bottom. Maybe I'll do them opposite. And then cut them at the same time. And I have a hole punch, a cheap, I think it was like, you know, under $1, under 99-cent hole punch. And if you want yours to be more centered, I guess you could measure it, but what do I do with mine? I'm just going to lay it on top and draw one of them, and then I'll know where it is. Okay, cool. They don't have to be perfect, but so many times I get like these things like, I don't have a die cutting machine, I don't have this, I don't have that. Okay, so here's two tags, right? Two really very opposite fun tags. And then now we have, now we can make 3 more, right? So out of this junk mail, you'll get 6 tags. And if you want to write on the back of them, go for it. You know, you can cover them with plain paper or whatever works for you. It doesn't matter. Cover them with plain paper, cover them with a brown paper bag, gesso on them, or leave them as junk mail. I mean, I personally think that's fun, but that's me. You know, you guys do what works for you. Do totally what works for you. And then since you've already punched one, you have the template for the other. Okay, so here's in my mess right here. Here's 4 tags made from the junk mail, and then I have the potential of 2 more. So anyway, and I'll show you the ones, my crazy messy desk. I'll show you the ones that I made the video with the epic video fail. I'm sorry, you guys. My desk is so small. I'm gonna do a video of it, and then you guys will see. I'm like working on like a 3 foot by 3 foot table, and I have everything on it. So here's the ones that I did a couple of days ago, or whenever I did them, and didn't get the video to work. And here's the ones I did today. So I mean, they kind of look similar, but you get the idea. Anyway, I'm wishing you guys a creative and crafty day, and it's from my heart to your heart. I'm sending you so much aloha. Take care.